Everyone once again to another tutorial. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. I am really pleased and glad to be here once again. I love coming out every day because I always feel that this is what I was born to do. So here is something different because this is for a baby that we want to make. I want to make a high front and low back dress for a baby. So this is the upper bodies which I want to make. I hope this is very simple and understandable for you. I will try my best to make it as simple and easy for you to try whenever you want to do yours. So this is the upper body which I want to make, and I just cross-checked my fabric before starting off my camera, and I discovered that this fabric has patterns. If you take a close look, you will see that all the flowers are facing up. It is not scanty. It was programmed. The flower was programmed to face up and not anyone facing down like scanty that you can use any part. So when cutting fabric, you must pay close attention to these facts about the fabrics. So let me go to the other side because here it will be easier for me to turn my facing around for me to get what I need. So I want to put my paper on fold. So let me go ahead to place it on fold and show you what to do. Okay, I have my fabric placed already. So what I have here for my bust for the little girl which I want to make this dress for, a bust is 20, and you are going to use the same bust for the waist because she does not have breast. So the bust and the waist are normally the same. Don't go and make the waist smaller. It will be tight because they don't like it that tight on them. Want it to be a little bit free. So our bust here now, which I'm making, is 20. The bust is 20 divided by 4 will give you 5. 5 plus 3 inches for sewing allowance because you are still going to need your dart out of those 3 inches. Then 2 inches for your sewing allowance. You can also make it 1.5 inch. Okay, I'm going to make this dress now an inner sewing, but that will take much time, on how to construct. I'm still okay. I always like doing it that way because it looks neater and finer. So let me go with the inner sewing for the dress. Don't worry, I'll show you how to go about it. So my bust divided by 4, my bust is 20 divided by 4 gives me 5. So 5 plus 2.5, got 1.5 for the sewing allowance, then 1 inch for the dart. So 5, 1, 2.5. You give me 7.5 for the bust circumference plus sewing allowance. So 7.5, that's what I'm going to locate here. You can actually make it 8 because I'm still going to trim out when getting my measurements. Oh, wait, okay, no, there's no need of trimming out if I make it like this. Okay, so I have my 7.5 here now. Remember I told you to follow your pattern. As you can see, this is the side where my flower is coming this way. After cutting that, I'm going to turn it sideways to get what I want because I don't cut this way, I cut from this way downward. So I'm taking off this my mark, which I always call an English line because there's a written word in it. So that is a rough edge that we normally know, we don't place it. So I have length, the half length of the dress which I want to make now, the half length is 9 plus 1 inch for sewing allowance because when sewing you're going to add half at the up and half at the down for joining of the down part and joining of the shoulder. You need those halves. So mark it like this and connect it together. Let me bring my ruler because it is not here. So that is what I just have now, making my half length plus 1 inch for sewing allowance. My half length is 9 plus 1 inch for sewing allowance makes it 10. So that is what I have here now for my front. Go ahead to cut out. This is my front. I want to, this does not come out nicely. I would like the flower to be at the center. You know that kind of look when you have flower. So I don't like this because it takes a lot of material. It takes a lot of material because you try to bring the flower to be at the center. Oh my heaven. Okay, let me. Oh, sure. The material will still remain based on what I want to make because it's both for the mom and daughter. So you can see this flower here. So I think if I use this side also, oh, voila, berry. Okay, I will use here and use here for the back. It will still come out. But all this waste of fabric, I don't like it. So I like to manage my fabric. Don't manage when it is not necessary. You don't manage your fabric and you don't get what you're supposed to get because you're managing. I manage my fabric in the sense that I will like when I paint, I will like put this for you to understand. You don't waste fabric. You don't waste fabric. So make sure you manage your fabric in a way that just like you want to make cloth now for 6 pieces and top. You need to start your managing from the up because some people they do cut their skirt first before cutting the up. But for me, I cut my up first, my half length. After cutting my half length, then I cut out my skirt. After cutting my half length and so I cut out my skirts before cutting my peplum. The remaining fabric that is left, that is what I use for my peplum. If this will be for peplum top and skirt, 6 pieces skirt, I will not be able to manage this fabric because I know it will affect me when cutting the peplum because the skirt will take much fabric. So this now will be of a waste because I'm trying to bring this so you can see how nice it looks now. You can see this, it does not go well. It does not go well, so you can see. So this now will be, I will still use it for something. I'll make sure I use it for something. Either the cup sleeve or cap sleeve, as you may know. So I'll go over to the back now. Yeah, I cannot use that one for the back because it's still the same size and there's no zip allowance. So for the back, it's going to have zipper allowance of 2 inches. But since I want to sew it inside, I will make my zipper allowance to be 1.5. 1.5 for my zipper allowance. Plus my zipper allowance, it will be 1.5. So I'm trying to, so this is my back which I want to cut out now. 1.5 for zipper allowance. 1.5 for zipper allowance. 1.5 for zipper allowance. 1.5 for zipper allowance. Okay, trying to make sure everything is in place. So this is the same shape which I have here now, all cut out. I want to try my best to make this easy for you to understand. This is how I have been making my babies, and it has been easy for me to. So once I have this now, so you can see my flower going down. So this is my up. I will make here the upper part. So what I will do now is to gum with my ST, my fusible interfacing, as some of you may know it as that. Fusible interfacing ST. Let me bring it for you to see. So I normally use this for my fabric, this ST for my fabric, and use this light paper gum for my fabric. But you can still use this all through for your fabric and your lining. You can still use this all through for your fabric and your lining, depending on the um, depending on the price or the quality of what you want. If you want a better quality, you're going to use this all through. If you want a better quality, you're going to use this on your main fabric and use this on your lining. It will still give you a better quality. But if you don't want much quality in it, you can still use this. It will still come out nice, but this here is higher in price than this. So let me go ahead to gum it. I don't want to waste your time, please. Let me go ahead to gum it with my fusible interfacing, which is ST. Then I will cut out my lining. I will not show you how to cut the lining and gum it because it will be equal with this. It will be equal. So let me go ahead to do that without wasting much time. Okay, so as you may know, this is not usual, but I want to make it fast. So I want to cut both the lining and the fabric at once. So I have my front and the lining being gummed and placed on place my lining, place my fabric on the lining. Same for the back. I want it to be fast for you to so that you can understand. So what I want to do now is my bust divided by 2. So okay, let me get my armhole first. My armhole circumference is 9 divided by 2, give me 4.5, and my 4.5 which I have here. My shoulder is 9. That's my shoulder here. Shoulder 9 divided by 2 give you 4.5. That's my shoulder 4.5. Bring the same 4.5 downward here. Bring it down. Connect like this. Then my neck width, I make it 2.5. Neck depth, I make it 3. Neck depth is 3, width 2.5. Easy way to get your curve. Make your 2.5 this way again. And make your 3 this way. Very easy. Then get your curve. You can actually reduce this or increase it. It all depends on the neckline you are working with. Then for my back, I make my back 1.5 for my back depth, like for the depth of my back neckline. Just connect it from here with your French curve if you have one. I have French curve, but I'm not using it. You can work with your French curve. Please let me keep this aside. It is broken. I don't know who broke my French curve. If I see that person I did not even see. So just like this is my front and this is my back neckline. So for my armhole, come down by 1 for my armhole. You must be careful with this because it is being placed together. You can actually cut your own separate, so cut your own separately, then place it on your lining to cut out. If you know this is difficult for you, get the midpoint between my two armholes for 1 inch for my armhole shoulder depth, shoulder slope 1 inch. Then from here 3.5, 1.2, midpoint between here and here 1.2. So that is it. And I'm still going to shaping this. I'm still going to shaping the after sewing everything, just getting my measurements in place. Then for my bust now, my bust is 20, so I have my 20 here divided by 4 give me 5 plus 1.5 for sewing allowance. Then at my waist region, I have my bust here divided by 4, bust 20 divided by 4 give me 5 plus 1 inch for sewing allowance plus 1.5 for my 1 inch for my dart, then 1.5 for my sewing allowance. So after that, to get my dart now, I divide my 5 divided by 2 give me 2.5. Is where my dart is going to start from. From my 5, I did not include my dart here now. From my 5, I get my midpoint, which is 2.5. That's what I have here now. So the height of my dart will be 3.5. 3.5, that's what I have here. So 2.5 this way. This is for my front, for my front dart now. So this way, half this way, half this way. Connect it to this point here like this. Connect it to this point here like this. I'm actually going to notch it. Let me notch both the front and the back so I can be able to get my back when tracing out. Just get a notch like this, both the front and the back. So this is my ½ inch, which I'm going to sew from this side to this side, altogether 1 inch. So once you are done with that, connect your armhole I hope I am not too fast. Please, I hope I'm not too fast. Connect your armhole together. Or should I come back again? Let me complete this first. What? No? It should be like this. Okay, so what I have here now, this is my armhole. My armhole divided by 2. My armhole is 9 divided by 2 give me 4.5. So my 4.5 here now, I came down by 1 inch from my shoulder slope. Then from my shoulder slope here, I get my midpoint. From my shoulder slope here, what I have left is 3.5. So my midpoint should be 1.7. That is where my midpoint is. Then for my neck width is 2.5. And my neck depth is 3 for the front. This for the front. Neck depth is 3. Then for the back, my width is 2.5. The same 2.5 for the back. Neck depth is 1.5. That is what you see. I bring out up to this, the extent of this zip allowance for the back. So if you look closely, this is the back zip allowance. Then I was able to get my bust divided by 4. My bust is 20 divided by 4, give me 5, plus 1.5 inch, 1.5 for my sewing allowance. Then my waist is 20 divided by 4, gives me 5, plus 1 inch for that, then 1.5 for sewing allowance. That was how I was able to get my calculations like this. So what I will do is to cut out my back first. I know you may be wondering why I did not give my armhole, why I did not minus half. You can actually minus it if you want, but me, I do. This is for the front. You can actually make it like this, but for me, I do make it equal. It still come out the way I want it. So you can also add it like that if you want to. It will still come out nice, but I'm still going with what I am doing. I'm not going to include this, but you can still include it. Or because I said I'm not going to include it, you're not also going to include yours. You can still include it, but for this I'm not going to include it. So I'm going ahead to cut out my back now. For the purpose that I think it is not correct, or I am not correct because I don't want to add it, because there might be some confusion between some of us now. Let me just add it for the purpose of others have been doing it like this. So let me just add it. This for the front. I have cut out my back, so I'm still going to cut out my neckline for the front. So because I'm still going to shaping. Hope you can see what I'm doing. For the front armhole, and this is my neck for the front. I'm cutting both the lining and the fabric together, so you can see both the lining and the fabric is being cut out. Then for my back, the dart of my back, so what I took for my front was 3.5. So let me say I want to try to make this dart easier for you to do. 3.5. You are going to include 3 inches. Going to include 3 inches from your 3.5. I don't know if what I just did make sense. I just want to make you understand. But just make sure your dart at your back surpass your bust. Hope you get surpass your bust. Then here 0.5 makes it 1 inch. Just like this for your back. So don't mind the way this shape is, because after holding your dart like this, it will fall in place. So you can see after holding your dart like this, it has given you a nice shape that it should be after holding your dart. So don't mind the funny shape, it's because of your dart is included. So let me go ahead to hold my dart, then come back to show you what next.